Hey everybody, welcome to Hey We're Talking. It's me, Scotty D, and I've got Derek and Bob here. We're so excited to be on this program today. It's a Friday, and that means it's Top 5 Friday. And on today's show, we are going to be discussing, and Bob just said it to me, and I've lost it already, but it's about the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Bob, what is it?
Top five fascinating facts about the St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
All right. And now Bob is the guy who has done all the research on this. As you know, he put it into a spreadsheet, and we have some information, and we're going to be sharing it with you today. Derek, you very excited about this, or just moderately excited about this?
On a scale of 0 to 10, I'm like at a 8.75.
Whoa!
Wow! Whoa! I better read good then.
I'm actually at an 8.6753099.
Ooh,
you had to throw in the 30999 in there?
Yeah.
Oh, no. You guys are getting me nervous to actually read on the air.
Jenny, I got your number. Okay, sorry.
You know that was one of the most common like codes or numbers for, you know how like some of the grocery stores have like a preferred card, and if you forget your card, you can type in a number for the discount.
309.
That was the most popular one, 8675309.
Nice.
I don't know why. Just because it's
go.
stupid song. Okay,
All
so
right.
St. Valentine's Day Massacre. You know, obviously Valentine's Day was earlier this week, and we just thought we'd find something a little bit different to talk about for the Top 5 Friday. And it all occurred February 14th, 1929, as Al Capone's Southside Italian gang ambushed 7 members of the Irish gangster George Bugs Morgan's Northside gang. So basically, you're looking at a Southside gang going against a Northside gang.
Northside,
Sox
Southside.
fans versus the Cubs fans. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's really where the rivalry between the Northside and the Southside came, was just because back in the late 20s, that's how the entire city was split up. And obviously, most of you know, they were shot with Tommy guns, and obviously there were bullets all over the place. Many, many people were killed.
From the Tommy guns, there were bullets. Yes.
Yes, and it's well known as one of the most gruesome, horrible things in Chicago mobster history. So let's talk about a couple
Valentine.
odd facts about it. So one of the facts is 2 of the killers were actually disguised as policemen.
Nice.
While the rest wore regular business attire. So after the shootings, the phony cops actually emerged from the garage pretending to escort people out. So they were basically like, hey, we weren't involved in this. We're policemen.
Forget about it.
Out of here. But of course,
blending in.
Exactly. And of course, the cops figured it out and made sure that these guys kind of went down for it. So that's kind of an... Yeah.
Bob, in Chicago, did the gangsters also say forget about it, or what did they talk like?
I don't know. I wasn't a gangster. I mean...
What do Chicago people talk like? If they're
I don't know.
From like the South Side.
There's only a handful of people now that I would say that actually
What's your
have
wife accent?
Chicago
South Side or North Side?
My wife's from the South Side.
Yeah.
So
There's a distinct... Yeah.
She's got a big difference. I've grown up in the Chicago suburbs. She grew up her first 12, 13 years on the south side of the city. So her normal talking is okay, but once you get her going and that Italian comes out, I mean, you can tell she's from Chicago. Scott always makes fun of her. She's like hot dog and taco and, just on and on.
It's awesome. I love it. I don't make fun of it. I actually like when she has that, when the actual Chicago accent comes out, it's fun. Derek, you love the Chicago accent too, don't you?
Yeah. The Bears.
Exactly.
I love that.
That's what's so great is they're like, the Bears. That's what she sounds like sometimes. She does. I would love to can we get your wife to say the Bears for us one day?
I could probably do that.
Doubles.
Yes.
I'd have to record it because she would never actually do it live, or she'd be like, no, I'm not going to just be embarrassed like a typical woman. But maybe at some point I'll record her without her knowing and see if we can get that as a drop on the show.
All right. What's the next thing?
one of the crazy things about the St. Valentine's Day murders, we've all heard of the story. It's been in the history for a long time, but not one person was actually convicted of the murders.
What?
So out of all the investigating that Chicago police did, nobody was convicted.
So a lot of cops got some payoff, apparently.
Of course.
Yeah.
There were people arrested at the time and went into questioning, but nobody was actually charged with it. Even the two that were dressed like police officers, fake police officers, were never charged with the crime.
That's so crazy. All right.
So you tell me there wasn't somebody getting paid off,
That's
paid off.
insanity. So that was number 2?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So another odd fact is 7 men were killed by nearly 70 rounds of ammunition.
Wow.
I mean,
That's crazy.
you think about that. That's basically 10 bullets apiece.
Yeah. So they were
In
just
that.
firing into the were they were just firing into the building or whatever, or what?
Yeah, I believe it was a hotel. This article didn't actually say where it was. Chicago Garage.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean they were just firing like crazy, but basically on average, each guy got 10 bullets. I'm sure there's more bullets that were fired and missed. If you go into Chicago on like one of these mobster tours or whatever, I mean they'll take you around and show you where this occurred, where like there's bullets still embedded in the walls from some of the mobsters and things like that. So
Have you
it's pretty
been?
Awesome. Yeah,
Have you been on one?
Yeah, last year, my wife and I, plus a couple friends, went on the Chicago Mobster Store where they took you to Union Station to talk about some of the killings that happened there, some of the hotels, basically lots that are now these beautiful, gorgeous buildings that were empty at one point, empty lots, and people were getting killed there. So it's a pretty cool tour. If you're ever in Chicago and have some time, I think it's only like $20 a person. It lasts about, I don't know, maybe 2 hours or so. But
That'd
they
be
talk
fun,
to you.
man.
It was a blast. They talk to you the whole time you're on this bus, and then you get out at like 7 or 8 locations. You'll stop in one of the hotels and have a beer, stretch your legs a little bit. But it was pretty awesome to go see a lot of this history, that has occurred in Chicago. So
I like it. I like it. This is where Ice Pick Tony stabbed, Frankie 2 times.
Oh, that's exactly it. It's like, okay, Jimmy Two Thumbs was over here, and you have these other guys that came up in a car, and they wound up shooting him here, but his family came from the other side, and there was a big accident here. It's like, what? I don't even know what you're talking about.
What? All right, Dub Bears.
What's the next interesting fact?
Okay, you guys made me lose track.
That's okay.
Capone served a consecutive portion of his 11-year sentence in Alcatraz. We all know Alcatraz. And after his release in 1939, he remained an invalid reclusion?
An invalid.
Yeah, invalid.
Okay. So basically, he just remained in his
invalid.
Florida home. It could be.
Whatever.
He remained in his Florida
Invalid
home.
makes sense with what you're talking about. So go
I don't
ahead.
even. Okay, I feel so stupid. What does the word invalid mean?
It means like you're not you. Derek, go ahead. I was gonna say, but I want you to be able to talk. Go ahead. Invalid.
Like disabled.
Yeah, you're stuck in your house basically. You're not useful.
That's
you,
it?
you can't
just
do
like
anything.
just
Yeah, you're just
disabled,
stuck.
bedbound.
Yeah.
Okay. Invalid. There you go. Okay. He remained an invalid in his home in Florida till he passed away 8 years later. So here's another interesting thing. The most notorious crime boss of his time, who ruthlessly eliminated his rivals in illegal trades, bootlegging, gambling, prostitution. He wasn't brought down by the FBI. He wasn't brought down by anybody else besides who?
The IRS.
That's correct.
Yeah, like Al Capone, right?
He was brought down by the IRS for failure to pay taxes.
Dude, awesome. They always
You
get the
guys see-
mobsters on like the dumbest crap. It's like all the horrible things that mob guys do. By the way, we are going to do a show about being in the mob because that's like a dream of mine, except for the fact that I would talk too much and I'd get whacked. But I would love to be in the mob. Who would would not want to be in the mob.
I'd like to be in the probably the 1940s New York City mob, not the probably not the modern mob.
I'd like to be in the Sopranos mob.
Tracksuits and
like when the Sopranos were running New York and New Jersey.
I never saw that show,
dude. Oh my gosh,
great show. By the time I learned about the show, it was so many years into it, and then I heard, "Oh, this season's terrible," and then I heard, "Oh my gosh, it ended so horribly," and I'm like, "Yeah, maybe I won't watch it." Okay, so my last thing here, all but 100 of the bricks from the garage wall where these guys were all shot, where the gangsters were killed, are lined up in a mob museum in Las Vegas. So when they actually tore down the building and all that stuff, they took a lot of the bricks and actually moved them to Vegas into a mob museum.
Hey,
so that's pretty cool.
That's cool. I'm going to see that. I mean, what day is it?
You already saw it.
I must have seen that.
You have seen it.
Last week.
It was fantastic.
Well, it
was great.
Let's not give anything away. Then we got a few shows coming up, and we'll talk a little bit about Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas. So
yeah, I mean, the Valentine's Day Massacres were just absolutely crazy. A big point on the map as far as mobster, gangster style stuff. And remember, nothing screams Valentine's Day like murder and mayhem.
Nice.
They made a nice comedy that was based on that. You've ever seen Some Like It Hot?
No, I haven't.
Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon. It doesn't. I mean, it's they witnessed the St. Valentine's Day Massacre and become cross dressers, and they hang out with Marilyn Monroe. It's a great 1959.
I have heard of the movie, but again, this is what's awesome. We have a cross section. We have a guy who doesn't watch very many movies. We have a guy who really likes movies 80s and on. And then we have a guy who can also tell us about movies from a long time ago. Because the really old movies like that, I can sort of handle sometimes. It depends. If it's funny, usually I can handle it. Because I grew up watching like the Three Stooges and all that kind of stuff. So I can handle some of that older stuff. But when you get into the 60s,
it is considered by many.
Go ahead.
Well, yeah, that one, Some Like It Hot, is considered by many to be the greatest comedy of all time.
Then I need to watch it.
And it's up there. It's pretty good.
Marilyn Monroe's in it. That's the whole big deal, right? Did she win an award or anything for that? I think that's what it was.
I don't think so.
Are you sure?
I don't know.
Bob, come on, man. Our crack staff. Bob and his computer Google. We have to find out if Marilyn Monroe won some kind of an award for Some Like It Hot. But, yeah, the mob. St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Interesting things there. But I would like to have a show where we talk about being in the mob, because it would be, besides how quickly I would get whacked, it would be fun while I was alive, I think.
What would your nickname be? I guess we'll save that.
Big Mouth Scotty. No, I have no idea.
Scotty the Squealer.
No, I wouldn't tell on people, but you know how I like to tell stories. I'd be like, hey, you remember Tony Joey? He whacked this guy last week. You should have seen his brains were everywhere. He's the guy who whacked Tony Joey? Yeah. Why did you say that? That's what would happen.
Part of getting into the mob is perfecting the voice and the accent. They don't let you in if you don't. Yes.
You have to be able to say, forget about it. If you can't say that, you're screwed. Hey, by the way.
Seriously, Joey. You got to listen up, Joey.
Forget about it. Okay, so the other thing, there's this show on Netflix that you should watch, and it has a guy from The Sopranos in it. It takes place in Norway, and he's from the mob. It's the guy who was in Bruce Springsteen's band. He wears those handkerchiefs all the time. Do you remember his name? Come on. You know who I'm talking about.
I don't think that's an HBO show. I think it's on Netflix.
No, Netflix.
You're talking about Lilyhammer?
Yeah, it's Lilyhammer. Yes. It's a great show.
Yeah, Lilyhammer.
Watch that. Go ahead, Bob.
So Marilyn Monroe won a Golden Globe for Best Actress in 1959 for Some Like It Hot.
Ooh, I was close. It wasn't an Oscar, but she got a Golden Globe. There you go. All right. On that note, thanks, Marilyn. We're glad that you made Some Like It Hot, and now I have some homework. I'm going to have to watch that. We appreciate you guys listening. Thanks for joining us for this special edition, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre edition
Don't kill anybody.
of Top 5 Friday. Yeah, don't kill anybody. But if you're going to, use 70 bullets on 7 people.
Yeah, 10 apiece.
But don't
or
do
maybe,
that.
do like 9 for this guy, 11 for this guy.
But just do it like on a video game. Don't do it in real life.
Right? Call of Duty or something.
Yeah, do Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto or something. Speaking
Goodbye, Norma Jean.
Exactly.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Some people have kids that need to play Xbox, so we have to end the show. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for being a part of the show. We appreciate you. We'll talk to you soon.